So this lesson has dealt with percentage contexts, which means basically putting those percentages into, real life situations. So here we go with these practice problems. Our first one, we have a car dealership that is paying $8,350 for a car. They're going to mark up, that means increase, the price by 17.4% to get the retail price. So therefore, what is the retail price? Okay, well, this is a pretty straightforward problem. So the first thing we need to do is we know that this is a markup from the original. So therefore, our original, we know, is always the 100%. And we know it's going to be marked up by 17.4%. So that means the new total, or the retail price in this case, is going to be 117.4% of the original. I know that I need to change that to a decimal, so I'm going to move that decimal back 2 places, and that means I'm going to be using the number 1.174 to find my new price. So I'm going to take that right over here. I know my original price was $8,350, and I'm going to be multiplying that times 1.174. Please use your calculators to do that. And the answer is going to be 9,802. Oops. 802. That makes more sense. And I know on your calculator it says 0.9, but we know it's money, so we need to put a placeholder at the end. And there's our answer. Next problem. A store is a 20% off sale on pants. With this discount, the price of one pair of pants before tax is $15.20. What is the original price of the pants? Okay. So, I think I would prefer to use our percent proportion to find this. So, first of all, let's think about this. Our original is 100%, and it's 20% off, so I'm going to subtract 20 from that. I'm going to get 80. So I know that my new price is 80%. And with the discount, they've told us that it's $15.20. So therefore, the $15.20 is the 80%. So because it's not just finding the percentage, I really prefer, and I think you'll probably prefer, to use the percent proportion. So we've got 100 minus 20, that's our 80%. So our 80, we know, is going to go over the 100 on this side. That's our percent. And we know that 1520 is that 80%. So the is, of course, goes on the top. And this is the number we don't know. So, per usual, we're going to be cross-multiplying here. So that means we have 80 times x equals $15.20 times 100. 80 times x is 80x. Sorry about that. $15.20 times 100 is 1,520. The next thing I do to solve that is to divide both sides. I say, what's the opposite of times 80? It's, of course, divide by 80. Divide both sides by 80. Those cancel. I'm left with x equals $19. So the only one here that makes sense is D. And I do want to point out to you, this is something that happens when they have multiple choice questions, is that you know that with the discount, it's $15.20. So it's completely illogical that it could ever be A or B, because those are both less than 1520. And 1520 is our discounted price. So please be careful of that. Right off the bat, we should know that both of these don't work. And then I'm sure if we manipulated our numbers incorrectly that we'd somehow get that as an answer. So they do that, I say to trick us, but they would say that it's just to make sure that you truly know how to do the math. So I just want to point that out while we're looking at multiple choice questions. Next, Lynn is shopping for a couch with her dad and hears him ask the salesperson, "How much is your commission?" The salesperson says that her commission is 5.5% of the selling price. Now, hopefully you remember that the commission is the amount of money that the salesperson makes on the item that they're selling you. Or if you're a salesperson, it's how much money you might make for selling a particular item. So the first question here is, how much commission will the salesperson earn by selling a couch for $495? So I know that we've talked about how rude it can be to change those fractions to decimals without permission, but this, when we're dealing with percentages, the permission is implied, because in order to change that percent to a decimal, it has to be in its decimal form. So 5.5, you should know, is the same as 5.5%. I'm going to change that to a decimal. I move the decimal that's there back 2 places. It needs a placeholder. So that's going to be 0.055 is the decimal that I'm going to be using. So very simply, I know that I multiply that decimal times the price of the couch. So that means I'm going to have 495 multiplied times 0.055. Use my calculator to do that. I'm actually going to get an answer of 27.225. I know that this has to be money, and I know that money has to end here. So therefore I have to look at the 5. The 5 is equal to or greater than 5. So I'm going to therefore round up. So my answer is going to be $27.23. Then they ask, how much money is the store going to get from the sale of the couch? Well, the store is going to get whatever's left over after the salesperson gets their commission. So now we're going to be subtracting $495 minus the commission, $27.23. And again, use your calculator, and you should end up with $467.77. Next, a college student takes out a $7,500 loan from a bank. What will the balance of the loan be after 1 year, assuming the student has not made any payments? Okay, so they give us 2 different interest rates to see how this works out. So after 1 year, the bank charges 3.8% interest. 1 year. That's all we're looking at. Even though these say each year for both of these, we're just looking at that first year. So, first thing I'm going to do is to say, okay, well, interest is more. So that means my original is going to be my 100%, and I'm going to add the 3.8% to that. So that's going to equal 103.8%. I'm going to bring that down here. So I know that my 103.8%, when I change that to a decimal, the decimal moves back 2 places. So that gives me 1.038 as the decimal I'm going to be using. There that is. And now I'm going to multiply that times the original amount of money. So therefore, I'm going to have my $7,500 loan multiplied times 1.038, and that equals $7,785. Okay, now same thing, but different interest rate. Got 5.3%. So I'm going to, I know my original is 100% plus 5.3%. That equals 105.3%. If I change that to a decimal, it's going to be 1.053. I'm going to be multiplying that times my original amount, which continues to be the 7,500. So I'm going to have 7,500 times 1.053, and that is going to equal $7,897.50.